Ruben Sim. The furries hate Ruben Sim. The internet hates Ruben Sim. Except that was yesterday. Now everyone likes him. We need to talk about Ruben Sim. The other day I made a video about Ruben Sim that he got cancelled by the furry community. But guess what? Now he's apparently being uncancelled by that same community. What? For those who are not similar to who Ruben Sim is, he's a YouTuber that exposes toxic Roblox communities. With his track record, he has actually removed multiple problematic people or communities on Roblox. Despite him getting rid of problematic people, he's actually quite problematic himself. He's gotten into a lawsuit by Roblox even though he's supposed to be one of the good guys. Hypocrite much? In 2021, he got banned for swearing and harassing admins, making sexual noises in a kid's game. But obviously, that video isn't available anymore. Oopsie. But by the looks of it, he's not really a great guy. And in 2021 as well, he's been sued by Roblox for numerous of things, actually. Profanity, bullying, harassing. The list goes on, and his jokes are actually in very poor taste. And generally, by the looks of things, he's not really a great guy. But fast forward to today, one of his next targets about problematic people or communities is actually the furry community. Who would have guessed? In his video, he basically called 95% of them soof based on outdated information. Obviously, also not really a cool thing to do. If outdated information is really a thing that we can still go by, especially if it's done just on a study of 455 people, then we can also safely assume that Ruben Sim is still a bully and a harasser and a prick who makes anti-Semitism jokes. Great. Oh wait, he still does those things. Does that mean 95% of the furry community actually consumes? A specific Twitter account actually called him out on this and stockpiled information on why Ruben Sim is actually a bad guy. But this is where things get interesting. Because, you know, guess what the owner of that Ruben Sim Exposed account likes? You guessed it! Furry. And not just that, also content. This makes Ruben Sim get actually a massive validation by the internet, and not just by the internet, by himself as well, because it proves to him that he was right all along. And it doesn't help that the furry community is also on his side on this one, because guess what? The majority of furries actually condemn content and behavior. But now everyone's quick to forget his previous transgressions, so that's also weird. Starts with someone found the Ruben Sim's Exposed Twitter. They found their Fursona account, and they have both liked Skyaab. I actually managed to link it together because the Fursona's Twitter account was recording something which was not on their account. So it linked to another account, another Twitter account, which goes by the name of Captain Argona, even though he claims it's not him. I'm not going to go into specifics because it's a long thing, but basically a lot of content has been found that is basically proving Ruben's point, which is that furries are indeed so... No! The furry community already had it bad, now it's even worse! The thing is, the problem with these types of hate accounts, like the Ruben Sim hate account, is that they are solely focused on bringing someone else down. It is usually sparked by intense hatred, guilt, or shame. But in this case, it's all of the three. From my experience, people don't usually like to be called out on behavior, especially if they feel insecure and guilty about it. The brain usually tends to protect us from harm, scientifically speaking, when new information is presented and we disagree with it. So basically on information that we don't like. This prompted the Twitter account to run a hate campaign because of guilt and embarrassment he most likely feels. He's been called out personally, and then he tries to desperately paint someone else as the bad guy, Ruben Sim, so they can save themselves some face or make themselves feel better about themselves, because then there's another person that is inherently worse than what they are doing. It happens time and time again on the internet. If you make a complete person to be a complete villain, so much worse than what your initial behavior and your initial transgressions are, you start to feel a little bit better about yourself because you're making out the person next to you to be even worse than you are, because you feel that guilt and shame, that embarrassment. So you victimize yourself essentially to validate being a horrible person to someone else. Because if you see yourself as a victim, you're initially not doing anything wrong. Because doing all of this to villainize someone else will just downplay your own behaviors, making it seem like it's not as bad as they should be or are, even though they are probably really bad on what you're doing. Like in this case, Ruben Sim's Twitter account, if you're seeing this, you're dumb. Maybe it's because you're young or something else. I don't know. I think you're young. I get that it's easy to villainize someone else to make yourself feel better about the things that you do, but it's not the way to go about it because it just makes you seem like a prick. Constantly being a victim can validate you being a horrible person to someone else. Oh wow, that's just the internet, just basically in a nutshell. Look, I'm a third party in all of this. I'm not involved with any of them. But if anything, this just reaffirms Rubens's behavior, which is also a very bad thing. By getting this, ha, gotcha, yeah, moment, he believes and reaffirms the idea that everyone within that community is probably a super without fact-checking the people behind those pictures that he posted in his previous video. A study done in 2013 doesn't mean inherently that everyone is a super within the furry community. If you do any type of a little bit of research, even the furries condemn super content. Even the furries are consistently trying to explain to people that being a furry is not the same thing as being a super. But somehow people obviously just make that link or distinction within their brain that it's probably one and the same thing when it's not. Because the furries do condemn this. You can go onto any of the forums that they have and they would disagree with this. They condemn that type of behavior. Unfortunately, that does not mean that these types of people don't exist within that community. But I think it's safe to say that we should, as people, not make imaginary leaps or distinctions and things that are not inherently connected to one another. We should be critically thinking about everything that we say, actually. Myself included, I make this mistake all the time. It reminds me of a book I've been reading, The Gay Science. Somewhere in that book, it says on how not everyone should be a devotee of knowledge because people can use knowledge and the truth to validate their own opinions or validate their own truths. What I'm basically trying to say is that Ruben Sim is, in one of those cases, very similar. He should still apologize for the video that he did, and proper apology, and not a stupid Twitter apology that doesn't mean anything that he posted. But I think he has maybe a slight idea of this. He just hasn't properly apologized or properly made a message about this, because he does post memes about him and the furry community working together, so that's a nice thing to see. So maybe there's hope yet. But as I said, knowledge, in this case a 2013 study on the basis of 455 furries, isn't exactly much or very accurate to depict the whole community and their behaviors. But all in all, this is a very bad look for the furry community. So what is there to be done? How can this be fixed? Just live your life. It's that easy. Really that easy. How can I live my life if I'm getting hated on it? Okay, hear me out. The internet isn't your entire life. I get it. And Roblox surely isn't as well. I would say that this case is an isolated issue because anyone outside of Roblox don't know who Ruben Sim is. He doesn't really mean anything. In any case, the more people fuss, it looks like, about Ruben, the more he validates his own behavior and actions. It isn't that hard to say, like, hey guys, look, I'm sorry. I know I just threw a bunch of people under the bus in this very small segment of my video. I didn't mean to do that. I should have fact-checked it, and I'm sorry that you guys got harassed. I will do better next time to not make the same mistake next time. I'm sorry. But then again, to my opinion, this whole thing is stupid. I don't know. Then again, I'm 25, by the way, so I disconnect myself from the internet a lot. I think a lot of people have problems doing that. That is Skyaab with the news. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more if you want more news, let me know let me know. See you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye, gamer.